Garadhara. She wants a big old book of Vrinda. Madhya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Madana Mohana, Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Mohana Govinda Rama, Mohana Govinda Rama, Mohana Govinda Rama. Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Gopala Govinda Rama, Gopala Govinda Rama. Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Srila Haribol, namaste.
Before coming to the point of meeting or associating or getting in touch with the teachings of the disciplic succession, the disciplic succession is the unbroken chain of pure devotees, spiritual masters coming from Lord Krishna. Prior to meeting them and hearing about them, we have been following individuals, and there is an attraction to what they have achieved. So the motive for following someone is to achieve, to be having or coming to the point of what they have successfully achieved. When His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami was telling us in one of his lectures that this material consciousness being enhanced, being propagated by someone who is engrossed and who simply is not understanding his true identity, has permeated society. So during the 60s, there were so many people, young children, young folks, who were brought up in a well-off families. But he's telling us there is a pinprick that even though they're wallowing in these material amenities, because most of them, their parents worked so hard, and during that time, the economy was really good. But what's happening is that supposedly, what will give them security and happiness? Shelter, the wealth that their parents have, the amenities, the luxury, the comfort, they just leave it behind. They become hippies. No care about all of this. They gather together, sing songs. So, during the time, it has permeated society, this material goal. Even though now it's also like that, that if we go to an institution, an educational institution, to learn skills about economics, to learn skills that will give us this tool to earn more money, we will be experiencing fulfillment and happiness. But those children were already in a situation that what is projected by society for them to achieve, to be successful, to be happy, it's given to them by their parents. It's already there. And it did not give them fulfillment. So, no matter what, how the parents induce them, motivate them, there's no more motivation because what's the point? We have all of this and we are unhappy. So they go out, leave everything behind. So now, in our situation also, we follow someone. We are motivated. There is a drive to follow someone. For example, to become a famous rock star. We try to emulate someone, thinking, if I can be the #1 guitarist, just like someone who can play the guitar superbly, I'll be happy. I'll follow his footsteps. I'll follow the footsteps of Jimi Hendrix during that time. He can play the guitar with his tongue. And he's a big guy in the music world. But how come? In his frustration, he overdosed his body with drugs, and he is a gunner. Someone in this time and era, 2 years ago, someone who sings, like here in the Philippines, maybe around the world, someone who's singing, who's singing this song, The Greatest Love of All. She's very big in the music world. She has a lot of friends. Everybody wants to emulate, to be like her. So they follow her footsteps. They want to sing the way she sings. The tone of the voice, it's so high, and the trying to really feel the longing for love. A lot of our students here, they even follow how she looks, her hairdo. Then after a while, we found out that she's also a gunner. And how did she die? She took so much alcohol and drugs. And in short, the person I try to emulate or follow is a frustrated person. The words that she sings, that she broadcasts through her mouth and uses the energy that she has to sing that song, The Greatest Love of All. She ends up dead. So, if we are intelligent, whom shall we follow? So we are advised in Scripture to follow the footstep of saintly person. We always, I hope I can see the Supreme Person. I hope I can be in the spiritual world. But the process is given to us by Rupa Goswami. He's advising us to follow the footsteps of a saintly person. So, years back, I began to reconsider my view, my goal in life, whom I should follow when I was able to read these teachings. Following the footsteps of saintly person, meaning if I follow somebody, I will be giving my time, my energy, and everything, and where will it lead me? So, before, the motivation is to achieve something that is big, but hoping to achieve what we or I read, that happiness. So when we were under the care of the saintly teachers, they shared to us the lives, especially when His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami was in this planet. So we begin to study his motives, because if we follow someone, we should know that person's motive and what we will gain if we follow that person. Who will lead us? Who will be our guiding beacon? So when we were discussing how His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami met his spiritual master at a younger age, about 21, he was asked by his Gurudev to give the science of devotional service, the teachings of Parampara coming from Lord Vyasadeva, to transcribe it into English and broadcast it to the Western world. Then it becomes very interesting because it took him some time until the time when his body's aged already, but still he followed and did the wish, the request of his spiritual master. And in the process, as what we were studying about his life, he went to America and someone a lady friend who owns this shipping company, he was given this ride to go to America. It's a cargo boat. His body is already frail because it's an advanced stage already in the 60s. And during that time, it's a 1-month travel. It's not a cruise ship. And it's an austerity to travel in a cargo ship. He has to cook his own food. And when I heard that he experienced these heart attacks more than once, I begin to wonder and ponder in my mind what motivates him to carry on to do this work, this job. What motivates him? So when he arrived in America, bringing his manuscript, we were listening to this saintly person narrating the life of His Divine Grace. Then he narrated to us that he went to this park bringing his kartals and chanted the Maha Mantra. He chanted in that park. His body is very old already, but he's bringing the holy names of God. And then it became more interesting because the Maha Mantra, he begins to chant it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Those individuals who have no motive for material acquisition, they left their homes, the amenities. They live a life that is really downtrodden with no purpose, begins to get attracted to the sound that comes from the lips of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. He is an old man. From the material point of view, he has no power, but there is a force that is so powerful that attracted these individuals who have no life. They begin to be magnetized to sit down and listen to His Divine Grace. And now they have this motivation, this eagerness to hear the transcendental sound of the Maha Mantra. So His Divine Grace came to America bringing the manuscript of the Vedas, the wisdom that is translated into English, and the Maha Mantra. And from the point he initiated the chanting of the holy names, those individuals who came in contact with him, now they have life, they're motivated. So it becomes again very, very interesting for someone who's searching for the answers that is bothering him, where and whom he should follow. And when our Gurudev, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, met him and begins to apply what he's bringing in America, that connection with the Supreme Person, the holy names, which is not different from the Supreme Person. And now our Gurudev, after leaving mainland America, he went back to Hawaii. And then we, I personally became eager to hear what happened when Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup went back to Hawaii. He's not bringing all the paraphernalias and the strength that comes from being the leader. He comes back to Hawaii bringing the holy names. The holy names, the Maha Mantra that has been introduced by Lord Chaitanya, that our Gurudev heard, and he became magnetized to follow, to be under the lotus feet of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Then he came back to Hawaii with nothing. One time I was listening to him. He came back to Hawaii and he started chanting in the park. He even joked that I just go up, climb a coconut and drink coconut water. And I'm amused. So when he began to chant the holy names, to distribute it, he begins to magnetize again. Individuals become very attracted to the process that he is bringing, that attracted him prior to his coming back to Hawaii. So it becomes very, very interesting again. So we begin to, wow, then what happened? So when Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup, at the time His Divine Grace left the planet, he stayed and passed on the same process through oral reception, the chanting of the holy names. And a year ago, I was surprised because through the process that he introduced in the Philippines, individuals who came in contact with his teachings, who chanted the Maha Mantra, we never see them. We have never seen them, but because they came in contact with the holy names, they continued chanting. It gave them this feeling, this hope in their heart to carry on. And then, after 4 decades, they came in contact more with the teachings of our spiritual master. They begin to know more about the qualities of the spiritual master, how to please the spiritual master. Then all the teachings that has been written, that definitely very few I have read, it becomes real because the holy names took care of them. Even though physically, our spiritual master is very far, but because he passed on this science as it is, and this person was able to read and hear the literatures that the disciplic succession, the devotees of God, are giving freely, they continued on and on. And up to now, they cling to the holy names. So meaning, the holy names can sustain one's life's happiness, because it's non-different from the Supreme Person. So when we continue their study program under this saintly person, telling us that Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Person, simply have 8 Siksastaka teachings. And all his disciples wrote many, many writings about the glories of the holy names, the glories of following the footsteps of the saintly person. So we are advised here that if we follow the saintly person and understand through hearing what they have, because you want to follow someone, meaning there should be a motive why you will follow someone. So in this case, the bona fide representative of God is able to communicate to us what is real love, what is inseparable from us, where we can direct our love. And there is a process that the desire that we have now that has driven us, motivated us to achieve something that will not give us real eternal happiness, it will now be redirected. So previous or prior to coming in contact with the saintly person, prior to hearing from him, the motivation is to follow someone in this material world. The motive is to achieve success. We're thinking, if I can be famous, if people will applaud, will accept me, I'll be happy. If I can become like this great businessman, Rockefeller, who died miserably, living just in a small room, eating chocolates, then we see that the motive to achieve all those material success that is in our mind, projected by what we see in this material world of so-called successful people who flaunt what they have, we become attracted and we try to follow their footsteps. Then when my spiritual master, he tells us, we must purify the mind. And the process of the holy names will purify the mind. And the motive now is not to follow the desire in the mind, but the motive now is to do the will of someone. Prior to coming in contact with the devotee of God, the motive is, I will do my own will. I will survive. I'm self-sufficient. I want to become self-sufficient. I want to be in control. That's why there's a lot of people who tries to do business, networking. What do? They try to entice, show how rich they are. Look what I've got. I have this, necklace, a kilo of gold. How much a kilo of gold? 1,000 grams. Per gram is $1,800. So meaning 1.8 million. And who wants to wear this heavy load, that you'll become, so encumbered. You may become a hunchback. You may have hunchback. Raise your hands. Wow. he's wearing this gold necklace. And he tells everybody, motivates everybody. Because he wants to motivate you, so you'll follow him for his bidding. And they were trained not to blink, that they look through the eyes without blinking and tell lies. Because if they blink, you may question what he's saying. Is it really true? And then they begin to play music. And the music is, I will survive. And they try to tell you, raise your hand. Who wants to be a billionaire? Who wants to be a billionaire? Raise your hands. And then he stands. I am a billionaire. You follow me, you become a billionaire. But prior to this, all those people in the 60s, their parents were well off. But how come? They're into drugs. They want to die. They want to forget. And now this guy again is coming, telling us, follow him, you know. He's a trickster, trying to trick us. But he can trick us if we are servants of the mind. If the mind is our master. And the motivation of following the mind is trying to fulfill the desire in the mind with a promise that if I get it, I will be happy. But through the example, through the lives of the devotees, to their personal teaching that they live, the motive is different. So now, they tell us, you must redirect the desire in the mind. So the mind becomes your friend. And it comes very easily when you chant the holy names of God. Because when you chant the holy names of God, it will purify your heart from these impurities, from these sinful activities, this hard heart, this lonely heart, this mind which is built up with so much desire to trick, to manipulate, to control, that gives us pain, will be purified. Meaning, the driving force in our life will be the Supreme Person. So, all this trickster who tells us, actually it's Maya, telling us, enticing us. Just like this spider web that is glittering on the early morning because of the sun. And this poor insect gets attracted, gets stuck. And then there's this big spider kills that insect. So when our mind is in meditation upon this dead world, we become servants of the mind's desire. We try to fulfill it. We do something, follow someone. The motivation to follow this is to achieve what he has. But look closely during the 60s, when A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami came to America, they were born in wealthy families, but they're all living a life of abandonment, no motive to live. No, they don't want to follow anyone. Their parents tell them, you must become like me, a big businessman, to earn more. You'll be happy. Look what I've got. They're not interested. And you know what happens? They take drugs. not only drugs, they shoot heroin and goes into oblivion, trying to get away from all this so-called happiness that is being projected by their parents, by society. No more motive to live. They just want to die. So we are advised here to follow the saintly person. So back to the point. When our spiritual master passed on these holy names, non-different from God, individuals who came in contact have a sustainable spiritual life. Their heart's desire, their longing is sustained because they're chanting the holy names. They're connected with God. And the sign is there. In our studies, the fruits are there because they carry on and on and on to chant. Why is that? Because the driving force now is Lord Krishna, the source of life, the source of happiness. And the benefit of following the saintly person is that the driver now is Lord Krishna. And the driver is our spiritual master, who is the dearmost friend of Lord Krishna, who is our well-wisher. So if we want to be well-wishers of everybody, we want to wish well, to taste this love for God, because we're talking about love God, I want to be a cowherd boy, I want to be in Vrindavan. Through following that footsteps, a person, the more he chants, the more his mind is in humbleness, in prayer, he comes to the point of complete surrender to the Supreme Person, feeling lower than the straw in the street. His prayer now is to achieve, to be just simply under the lotus feet of his spiritual master. Then he has life. So the process of parampara is real. We can look back in our study program, anyone who applies it, that even though those individuals who just heard it, but it's coming from parampara, their spiritual life is sustained. That's why, Lord Chaitanya, in one of his prayer, he's telling, in the one of prayer of Lord Chaitanya, his prayer is, he wanted to be always in this world of the chanting of the holy names. And he's feeling, he has no attraction, but he's feeling humbleness. And in one of his prayers, he's praying, "Oh my Lord, I have no desire for material wealth. I have no desire for any numbers of followers of mine. I have no desire to enjoy beautiful women. My only desire is to be engaged in your loving service life after life." So we must be aware that when the spiritual master passed on the holy names, it became sustainable to these individuals that they're now chanting now and they're making progress towards the goal, which is they are now directing their minds to do the will of God. Their desire is to please God. So in our study program, it is very safe to follow someone who is a resident of the spiritual world, the saintly person, and we are advised to follow someone who is a pure loving servant of God. Because if we follow him, the driving force in our life will be the Supreme Person. Thank you very much. Harbol Namaste.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa iti namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa iti namine. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastaya Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastaya Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktavrinda Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Haribo Krishna Haribo Krishna Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radhe Krishna Prasade Vaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Garada Shivasati Gopal Vridam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much for participating in this program. Haribol Namaste.